It is September 24th, 2015, and we are meeting together to collaborate about professional development opportunities at our school and effective ways that we can improve or maybe update some of our professional development. We have people from the special education department, we have mathematics, English, history, now higher education coordinator, English, and our art teacher together. So we have a good variety of faculty members from all over our campus to help us in this process. Now I'm going to hand the camera off and we'll begin our meeting. All right, so for today, we want to talk about professional development and effective strategies that we can use as a campus. And to do that, to collaborate, together we'll have a roundtable, but we're also going to use Padlet to collaborate together and to post some ideas to help us in our discussion as well. So today, if you will go to, it's padlet.com/mgilmore3 LU leading video. And we've all used Padlet in some of our trainings before, but just a reminder, if you just double tap in the blank area, then that's where you can type in your response. So, and I'll let you know whenever we'll be using Padlet throughout our discussion today. To start everything off, what do y'all think the purpose of professional development is? And we come from a wide variety of experience as well. We have people as many as in the 30 years of experience to 5 years of experience. So I believe that everybody's ideas will have a good discussion today. So what is the purpose of professional development? What do y'all think?
Charlie, check with the office, please. Charlie.
Well, one thing I think is to keep us updated on. It's changing all the time, and so just to keep us updated on what's new. And
okay. I mean, do you want to add anything to that?
I think just in general to help us with new ideas. We get new kids every year that are used to different things than maybe even we're used to, and so we can use that time to kind of regroup and plan things differently for the next year.
Yeah, a refresher. Yeah, kind of like a refresher. And in our district, we have seen some change in instruction. We have 5 teachers with Chromebook carts, and we have more labs, and so y'all have began to see the instructional revolution that's really kind of happening. But how would you describe professional development in our district, as far as however you want to, has it been adequate for you, or how would you describe professional development for us, as far as to your content, to your needs, maybe like instructional strategy needs, and just all together?
I know for myself, I found that the administration is really willing to allow us to attend various professional development opportunities. The other side of that is that a lot of times I'm having to find I have to do my own research to find professional development opportunities. It's not
promoted?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to say certain areas are more promoted than others. Like technology is very promoted, but then some of maybe curriculum areas, not so much. You have to seek them out on your own.
Right. And I guess I came from Spring, which is a very large district in Houston, and so the school itself provided us a menu, much like Region 5, of opportunities that were presented there at the school. So I didn't have to do a lot of shopping to find opportunities. They were there, and I just had to go through and decide which ones I wanted to participate in.
Yeah. I will say I enjoyed last year and this year the menu sessions more, because kind of like what you said, we got to choose what we wanted to.
I think it's a more well-rounded view of what it is to be a teacher, an educator, or whatever. So you're getting not just technology or curriculum, you're also getting medical and physical concepts.
Back through the classroom management just as a refresher, getting ideas. That was good. But I do like the idea if we had for, like, for both English teachers,
Mhm.
for our specific needs, if we could do something like that too, that'd be great.
Okay. I agree with y'all. I think in August we just completed our 3rd annual professional development, where it was our menu session day, where teachers came in and they were able to share some instructional strategies. We had something over differentiated instruction, and then we, like you said, classroom management. We also had some instructional technology integration there, where they use different digital tools. There was a session over a teacher's place in a cyber world, so the presenters were able to kind of get that underway and let teachers know like what's appropriate now in social media and what's not. And it was kind of like a well-rounded, because we even had a doctor come in, and we had other community members try to come in to get involved. So that day, it does kind of seem to be everybody's favorite day as far as professional development.
Well, and that's where you told us about Remind, which I started using with my students and my parents in my class.
Awesome.
Because my kids want to text me, so I'll let them download Remind on their phones, and now we do it through that.
And that's great, because Casey just asked me too about getting Remind going for some higher education needs that she has. So I think that our August menu session day really is a good jump start to the year, and it gives you a lot of opportunities to kind of, like what y'all said over here, kind of shop, and maybe working at a smaller district throughout the year, y'all don't have so much shopping, there's not as much presented to y'all. So I guess I would just want to follow up and how would y'all view how do y'all think the district views professional growth? I mean, y'all kind of tipped it a little bit, but would you say that our district really fosters a lot of professional growth, or what kind of value do they place on taking a teacher and making sure that they, they grow? They're not the same their 1st or 2nd year as they are their 10th year.
Well, I mean, like y'all know, we've got the mentoring program that we've incorporated, and I think it's a good thing if it's done the way that it's set up to be done. But I also think that we sometimes are not comparable to other districts that are, in our area the same size, on the amount of money we spend on professional development, on the amount of emphasis we put on professional development. I think that we could do a better job of that, and seeking out some other things.
And I think it's on the subject area.
Exactly.
How much they get professional.
Exactly.
If it's a STAR area.
Exactly.
Special ed.
And if they have to get a sub, because like in my new position, I have noticed that they're a lot more likely to let me go to things because there's not as much emphasis on the classroom, because I'm in the office. But as a classroom teacher, that means a sub, that means that you have to prepare, that means you have to do all these things, and they really don't want you out of the classroom, which I understand, but at the same time, you've got to have,
supposed to grow.
Exactly, you've got to have that time.
Right.
I would agree. I will say I put in for 2 different professional development days this year, and this was the quickest response I've gotten, and we were actually approved to go to all the teachers applied, and we were all allowed to go to both, which again, that's the first time I've ever been that successful asking to go to a conference, a 1-day conference. We're going to go to Houston. But I will add this, and I don't even remember who it was, but someone made a comment and said, oh, well, yeah, you actually have a returning department this year, so they're probably more willing to invest in y'all because you're more willing to stay with our district, which makes sense.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can definitely, I think it's a budgetary, a lot of times, unfortunately, student success, performance, engagement ends up being a budgetary decision.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, all right, so let's go ahead and use our Padlet. And what is the most significant challenge that you're facing in your classroom or as a professional right now? And how might professional development, what type of professional development could help you improve? So we'll take a little time to do that. And if you need help, remember double tap, and then where it says title, you put your name and you'll write that. What are the most significant challenges you're facing right now as a professional or in the classroom? And what type of professional What's a significant challenge that you're facing, and what professional development could you get to help you address that? What would you like to do? How would you like to? No, you're fine. Yeah.
Whoops.
We have differentiating instruction. Projects. Patty, you wanted differentiation instruction and for your various learners. And technology goes along with that. Why don't you expand on that? What do you give me?
Well, like vocab, and I do vocab. They have different number of choices, different number of words, stuff like that. And so I'm having to, I need to, like we're using the Chromebooks to take the test. Well, that means I have to have 3 different tests if I have ELLs and SPED and then regulars. Whereas before with, the paper test, I had one test and I just highlighted or whatever. And so as much as I love the technology, it's actually created more work for me in that sense. It's in having to come up with those different tests for those kids. And so at the same time, I realized that technology also alleviates a lot of the problems for the different types of learners, because they can approach the skills and the knowledge via technology at whatever is comfortable for them.
Right.
So if it's auditory or whatever, that can be accomplished with but at the same time. And so I'm always struggling with juggling.
Right.
And so is there a way that I need help with that?
Right. So I think that's basically a lot of people, because we're at that point where it's kind of like a blended learning. Like, we're using technology, but we still have some books, but we still have, and I definitely, that's definitely a concern that I've seen whenever I'm reading about 21st century learners and skills, and I just feel like there are some digital tools, but I feel like the exposure, and that goes back to placing an important on your professional development concern and exposing you to other digital tools that could make your life a little bit better.
Well, this has really been interesting to me. I have the 3 foreign exchange students all in one class, and they came to me. I was really happy that they felt comfortable to do this, but they came to me and they said, could you please give us a paper and pencil test, like for vocab? And I said, why that? And they said, because we use the computers for translation.
Oh.
And it's too difficult to go back and forth on the computer. Whereas if we have the paper test, then we can do the translation and answer and we don't have to go back and forth.
Right.
And it's that type of stuff too.
Yeah. And that just goes, like we said, we're in a kind of a blended learning environment. Well, you do because you have the Chromebook cart for yourself. So, but definitely personally, I think that there's actually, since you're in that Digital Champion Mentor program, you'll get to go to Mobile Mania. So hopefully that will help alleviate some of your, one of your struggles. So, but again, it's the exposure to professional development, like beyond what the school sometimes can do. And because there's so many minutes and you have a planning period. And so just some additional exposure outside of our campus. So, let's see. Brenda, you said how to use tech with your special needs students and find things that would help with Star Alt. So tell us a little bit about Star Alt for those who
Star
might not
Alt
know.
is the alternate form of the STAR. My kids have to take it too. And how to access the curriculum, they have to be taught with the kids too.
Right.
And just how to access curriculum using technology, because that's all about it now is technology and all the different apps. There's a lot of apps, but when you get to Chromebooks and the computers, they don't have as much
extensions.
The extensions, like Google extensions. That's what maybe I could find more.
We did that speech to text, text to speech one time.
Yeah, we did.
But
and QR codes.
Yeah.
That I think helps them some too.
Yeah. Well,
Just trying to find some more things that I could introduce them to that would help.
Again, the opportunity to go and attend a workshop that were specifically for your students in that area. So, outside of where we are. Casey, learning the new parts of your job as far as your higher ed coordinator, and you want to, like College Board workshops, other things that'll help you serve your population. You want to expand on that, or?
Well, there's so many new parts to it that I know of, but I don't know the ins and outs of, like the SAT and AP testing. The SAT especially is going to be new in March, a brand new test, and they changed up a lot of the information. So the more that I can get through, even through online training, they offer, a lot of these places offer a lot of like free webinars. And that's another thing that I was going to say earlier. We don't always have to pay for professional development. A lot of these things we can do, if we just had somebody to watch our class for teachers, or for me, I can just be in my office and, do a webinar just to get myself caught up on the latest information for the students, because, that's very important to those that are college bound. And, AP stuff, there's always new and, information to help the AP teachers and to get them the latest information so that our students, increase their scores, and all that stuff is new and something that I need to do. There's nobody else here to ask, really. The person that was here to ask is not here. So the only way I'm going to get this is through these types of trainings.
Right. And again, providing and seeking resources from people outside but also in your like area.
Absolutely.
Because you serve such a unique area to our campus. So, let's see. Jackson, differentiation for ELL students separate from your SPED. More one-to-one help with growing class sizes.
So in general, obviously I teach a lot of writing. It's a STAR tested class, and so we focus on writing a lot. And so far things are going fine, but later in the year when there's 26 kids in a class who are struggling, not all will struggle, but a lot, it's hard to get around to everyone. So last year what I did, but I waited till after the STAR test, is we started doing the writing on Google Classroom, which helped because I don't have to walk around the room. I just jump into their paper from my computer. They have to write it on paper on STAR. It has to be in their handwriting in X amount of lines. And so we practice writing it throughout the year. So that's a little bit of a challenge, or I expect it will be this year because my classes are bigger than what I was used to. And then just for my English language learners, I just have a hard time figuring out kind of what they're capable of. Like, are they trying their hardest? Is it a language barrier? Is it a learning barrier? What is it? So that's kind of a gray area for me that I would like more help with.
Yeah. So maybe instructional strategies, but maybe also like student engagement, motivation, maybe some type of professional development in those areas. So And Ms. Edgerton, yours is about classroom numbers as well.
It's constantly going up, which is great. You know, I feel like the program has really grown, and that's exciting. But it becomes difficult, kind of like Holly. Like, I have to be all over the place because it's hands-on. Like, I have to be there. And so some of that, yes, can be done through projector and that kind of thing. But sometimes they just need to see me physically with my hands in front of them do it. And with art, there's not going to be many like professional developments, especially in the area you're going to, like Austin or Dallas or something, and that becomes a whole other thing. Yeah. And I've seen a few things for like webinars and that type thing. But again, it comes down to like time and having someone to watch a class. So.
Right. So a lot of what I'm gathering as far as instruction and professional development, as far as our district's concerned, y'all like the way the year starts off. You know, it starts off with, providing you with a lot of, different tools or strategies that you wouldn't have known before, but maybe throughout the year, as you come to new challenges, like in your class and class sizes, sometimes your need changes. So, how do you think, like, what would be an effective, like, plan of action? Like, how could we address your concerns in here today, but it would probably solve a lot of other concerns too. So how can the district provide more professional development? Like, as far as because think about it, like, we have a district improvement plan, and underneath that is our campus improvement plan, and part of that is, making sure that we increase and maintain our STAR scores, which we are in the top of the area on that. And so y'all, as our classroom teachers, are doing a great job, but how can we keep that level of engagement? How can we still address, concerns, some of Ms. Sullivan's concerns, as far as maybe structuring professional development? How can we, when would be a good time to do some of this professional development as we're all stretched thin? And, what would be some professional development that would be engaging for y'all? Because in professional development, y'all go from being the teacher to the student, and that's a transition too. So, and topics that would be relevant for y'all. So, if we were going to put a plan of action together, let's just kind of, what would that look like? How could, if our district, we were going to relay this to our leadership team, what would we want to tell them? What are some ideas that we could put together today?
Well, we've already got days scheduled into our calendar, and I think if they were willing to open themselves up to suggestions from us as departments or groups of what we would be looking for on those days, as opposed to just giving us things
they think
that they think we need. I think it would be good if they would allow us, like, say English department meet and say these are the things we're all having issue with and that we would like further training on. Then that way they could have time to incorporate that into the calendar on the days that they've already got scheduled. So it wouldn't be anything that would have to take out extra time from the teacher. You wouldn't have a sub needed. You wouldn't have any of that. And I think that would be more beneficial to the teachers because it would be something they actually need, not something, as Brenda said, that they think we need.
Right.
God, that lunch and learn things. I mean, I only got to go to one last year, but I think that was a great idea.
Uh-huh.
I think everybody can at least eat and listen to or view some kind of new technology.
Yeah, lunch and learn opportunities, because it's kind of built in towards your day. It's just something that can be done in a quick, like 10 or 15 minutes. It can't address, it's hard to address individual needs, as we've talked about here. So lunch and learns are your generic concerns of here's our problem, or here's something, a fix for you or a possible solution for you. So there is built in, I guess we could say, built-in lunch and learns.
The kids love Kahoot. That was something quick and easy from lunch from last year. 10, 15 minutes. The kids love it. And a lot of teachers are doing that.
Yeah.
It's a fun.
Yeah, I taught QR codes at a lunch and learn, and that's been a big hit. And then Kahoot's been a big hit. So as far as having or just addressing some real quick, engagement activities. I think the lunch and learns, are definitely something that could continue. Sometimes we offer them because teachers don't want to give up their lunch and they would rather do it during their planning period. So maybe offer the lunch and learn, but then like the next day just offer to be available during my planning period. So to help y'all as an instructional tech.
I really liked the day we had with the Chromebooks here at the high school. I really liked that. It gave us enough time where we were in one spot long enough to really get into whatever that particular spot was supposed to so we were there, we weren't there 5 minutes or 15 minutes. We were there long enough to actually get in it and use it from beginning to end and then move on to, and we were using it all day.
And our theory was we wanted to, we were the teachers for the day and we wanted to create a lesson that was engaging, that you would be using the tool. So that's why we had y'all use Google Classroom. And so to get y'all using it, because some had never used it before, and I know that, I stopped by teacher's room today and she, unless it wouldn't have been for that training with y'all, then she wouldn't have, probably implemented that. But we kind of did a flip PD. We didn't really, there was videos that we embedded into the course, so, and there were instructions for y'all, but really it was pretty hands-off, if you notice. So it was more kind of like a flip PD in the sense that it was, last year we did a lot of point and click with y'all. This year it was engaging because y'all were doing the activities, y'all were doing the research. It was hands-on from you. So, and you were also using tools that you have, that you could use in your classroom. So you saw the value, that it was relevant to you. We actually, I don't know if y'all noticed it, but we did, we used Padlet, so that could be used as like a brainstorming, and then, to like your hook of a lesson, and then the next one was more of assessments, and then the next one was, checking for understanding where we play the game, and then the next one. So we went throughout the lesson cycle, and we pulled tools to help y'all, but, I'm not sure if it was, I don't know if y'all had noticed that, but in each room, that's what our goal was, to show you that, depending on where you are in the lesson cycle, you can, use various digital tools.
Another idea that we haven't done, but that goes with kind of what you mentioned earlier about the lunch and learns. If you had a topic that was maybe a little more in depth, that needed a little more time than 30 minutes, there could be like a once a month day that you're going to present as an instructional technologist the same topic throughout the day, so that when it's your conference period, you could go in and get that training.
And that's what we did last year. We started off with some lunch and learns, and I only did lunch and learns that year, but then we started pulling from different things. So we are doing that in a sense, but it's only the instructional tech side of it, Right. I want to get y'all, like, what are some other ways, like, how could the administration help y'all? You know what I mean?
Right. Well, they could do the same thing.
Is this something that they could be doing too?
Absolutely.
So in our plan of action, first of all, we'd like for them to know about input. Like, they don't ever ask y'all, what you want, what you need. So I think input and like utilizing your days that are available. So, and that could even be readjusting the calendar, because we have a lot of upfront days. So there'd be a lot of collaboration that would have to work throughout the whole district for that to happen. But you could plug those days in throughout the remaining of the year, because our front calendar is so loaded, top heavy. Yeah.
I do like the idea of implementing some of those ideas, or implementing that into the spring. I think in the spring we usually get one day right before the kids come back after Christmas break, and instead of being able to meet with our team or work on our lesson plans, or maybe I want to have a conference with you about my students who are going to take the STAR Alt, who are special ed, but in my class, we're assigned something else, and it's not. I can't think of one that's been class based. You know what I mean? So that would be helpful if we could do kind of some of the things we do over the summer, apply them to the spring, instead of just you jump right back into it. You know what I mean?
Holly, that brings up a good point, that, you know, we could always have the instructional text lead either the beginning in August, or we could lead it, you know, another one, but have your departments do where we still divide up, like y'all still divide, and you can present, and, you know, as
Like a menu session.
and do a menu session, but do it in the spring. So, and that way that, you know, you could teach, because history we can learn from your, you know, we're all teachers, and, you know, we can all learn from each other. So we could create our own kind of menu session day to help us as well. So that's another option. I think that's a really good idea.
And you could be throwing ideas in the hat the whole school year as you come across issues.
Right.
So that when the time arrived,
Yeah.
that you would have the ideas needed to.
So you would have the whole fall whenever issues like this arise or that arise for you, and so during the fall, you know, you get these new relevant professional development needs, and then maybe it could be addressed in January or February, maybe before we come back, or maybe, you know, in February at some time. That might be, I definitely think that's good too. And I think what, you know, the common thread throughout, you know, a lot of this is you want input. You want it to be relevant. You want it to, a lot of the professional development, you want it to have meaning. And this is all things, like y'all are wanting things, that's the same thing that your kids want whenever you're teaching.
Well, and that's what
You know?
when we were talking about the day we had where we went through with the Google Classroom, and you mentioned that it wasn't teacher driven, it
Right.
was student driven.
Right.
We were engaging, and we really need to work on getting our kids to do that, where we simply give them the tools and we let them drive their education.
Right.
But we need help with that.
Right.
And so
There's got to be, and what else is I'm seeing is, you know, y'all came up with this idea all by yourself, is ongoing, continuous professional development. You know, it's not, think about a child in your classroom. You know, whenever y'all teach them a concept, you teach them facts about something. If you never touch on it again, you leave it right there, and then you come back 6 months from now, oh, well, you're not doing it, you don't remember that?
right.
You know, and that's sometimes what administration can do to us. Oh, you're not, so, you know, we have, you know, they need to remember too that we're still students as well. You know, we're lifelong learners in here. So it's about having ongoing, continuous professional development, because that's where professional growth comes in. That's how we evolve, you know. That's how Patty's got interested in her Chromebooks, and that's how, you know, Lauren, and, you know, now you're the higher ed coordinator. That's what spurs all that, you know. So, and we want to have leaders on our campus, you know. So I think that also let them know that, you know, we want to spend more budget money on professional development outside of here. Like, let's get ideas, because I'm just one, you know. Like, I can send an email out, or I can do lunch and learns, but I'm just one. So a lot of times, getting to go to a conference and where you're able to learn from different presenters and learn from people in your content area, it benefits you.
And if you've been the one to give this as the idea, you've got more ownership in it too, and you're more likely to want to do it and be more engaged and be more positive about the professional development, as opposed to, oh gosh, I have to go to this again.
You definitely hit the nail on the head, because it's whenever they present things to you and you have to do it, shoved down your throat necessarily, versus you taking ownership of it and you wanting to do it.
And then you're excited about it, so you tell others.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly, because you're excited about it. But, you know, Patty kind of mentioned on it, our kids are in the information age. And I read something the other day about, and it said, it was a research study that was done, and, you know, kids, they have devices that are connected to the world all the time. It's not about memorizing the facts anymore. It's about refining students' research skills. So for us, you know, moving forward where we are, you know, hopefully the administration will listen to us, that we want more input. We want more built-in time, you know, some more built-in time with that. We want to utilize the days that we have available. We want to, I didn't write that down. We talked about ongoing. I'll write that on our wall. Ongoing PD and extend outside of our campus.
Do y'all ever get to go to Region 4 much?
No.
They
They have excellent resources. They have
That's where we're
excellent
going.
resources.
Patty pointed it out. and
That's where
what I
special
thought
ed
to go
goes a lot
It
for
was-
assisted technology. I mean, they
Yeah,
have
I
a
had two
huge
things
assisted
that didn't
technology
apply to us,
department.
and that's it.
Right.
And they have long, they have
Right.
longer programs.
I mean, I have to admit, I don't get a lot of opportunity myself. Much of what I do, and I want to encourage y'all to do it, is to extend your professional networks. Because everything, like whenever we're going over things and the things, I get on Google Plus, Twitter, Pinterest. These are where, I mean, I built an entire session strictly from Pinterest this year. Okay, so I want to encourage y'all and take that back. And you know, we can do that too. We could, if that's something, an effective strategy would be to have a social networking launch on campus. You know, I saw one campus where they were real excited, like all their teachers were on Twitter. There's a specific hashtag and all kinds of stuff, and that could really get people excited because we all have smartphones. We're all, you know, we're connected. So that could be, you know, what do y'all think about, you know, doing something per se out of the box?
I mean, I find lots of things for my classroom on Pinterest. I mean, there's just tons and tons of things out there. I never use Twitter, but
It's always good to
Yeah, I
pilot
do
something
Twitter.
and try it, and you know, I mean, it's a work in progress. You try it, if it doesn't work, then you move on. That's the biggest mistake you can make is to try something, it doesn't work, and you continue to use it.
Right.
So you want to make sure that, you know, if you pilot something like that and you get feedback from everyone and say, hey, is this working for you? And if it's not, then wipe the slate and start again.
Right. Dead
Oh,
on.
it's like I tell my kids, you know, if you keep doing the same thing, why are you expecting different results?
Right. It's the same thing for us. If there's something wrong in professional development or we are, whatever, if it's working, let's do it. If it's not working, let's scrap it. Let's change our direction. You know, that's excellent point, Casey. So,
And I'd like to kind of go back to where we're talking about us being able to give input to the administration. I also would like, I don't know about any, maybe the rest of y'all get it, but I don't. I would also like, and I've actually asked the question point blank, what goals would you like for me to work on? Like, not personally so much, but like professionally. You know, and I don't get a response. So, you know, do you want the school to work toward higher SAT scores?
Right.
You know, how can I help do that if that's a goal for the campus?
More specific.
Yeah.
a clear vision.
Yes.
So
Well-
a more clear vision.
That should be
And
part. That should be part of your campus site-based committees, district
yeah.
goal. Not district goals, but campus goals.
Well, if we
Absolutely.
have,
You know, they should
Right.
incorporate part of that in there.
exactly,
And
that's
that's
an
the issue.
excellent point.
That's the issue. We have them, but they're not.
They don't go that
just
deep.
on that
It's
page.
just the yes. Yep.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, if you
Yeah.
never address it again, it just stays right there.
Right.
That room.
That's
Right.
it.
Good point.
So I mean, we might be coming to this a little later, but I think our number one is to provide a clear vision. Let's let everybody know what our campus improvement plan, because that's where everything comes from and stems from.
Right.
You know, so what is it? You know, what is our mission? So then we can provide input so we can utilize the best of our days to accomplish these goals that we have to, you know, our main goal is we're here for the kids. Increase student performance and engagement, and, you know, that's what we're here for.
Well, if we're shopping for professional development, which I do all the time. If I'm shopping for professional development, help me target where I'm looking. Otherwise, I'm going to find something I enjoy, and I'm going to go in that route. But it may be that I could go in a different route because I know, okay, this is something we need to work on. You know?
Or that we're lacking, or that
Yeah,
we're not
exactly.
performing well. Or,
I mean, it is really not all about me.
Oh, come on.
because it's all about me.
But, you know, so,
I thought I was the princess.
Mm.
and I'm the queen, so I outrank you.
I'll let that happen. Oh goodness.
Okay, well, I think that we have, like, this is what we want to do, you know? So I think that we have some ideas in place, and this is something that we can present to our leadership team to let them know of our concerns, because, I mean, we have people from all different subject areas here, from all different years of experience, but it seems like there is that common thread of this is kind of, we might have different specific needs, but we have some common things as well.
One thing I want to add to that,
Go ahead.
it's not really off topic, but I did want to point out, and I'm not alone in this, anytime we have an effective professional development or we go to a Region 4, Region 5 workshop, I always feel better the next day coming back in to face the kids. I always feel refreshed, and I think it is just that regrouping. Something is new again, and it makes you more excited.
Yeah, like for me, I'm by myself. I don't have a department.
Right.
I'm me.
So this
Right.
is,
So and I've corresponded with the middle school art teacher Lee quite a bit to try and get ideas, but like I mean I live off of Pinterest trying to get project ideas, and I've been to like one AP development, and that was fantastic. It was like a week long, and you got to do all kinds of stuff, and it gave you all kinds of ideas. But to not have that, and to not have anyone to bounce ideas off of, it's just like throwing a tennis ball at the wall with yourself. So.
right. I mean, y'all are yearning for professional development outside of our district, and you know,
That is
y'all
meaningful.
want something
That's
that's meaningful, that y'all have input, y'all have choice over, and you know that's really important that we spend our budget for y'all to have, you know, that's to be able to do these things. So you know, let's start. You know, we have to let them know of our concerns so that we can continue moving forward as a campus. Because I think we have a lot of great people here, and we have great kids,
And I don't mean to be negative in any way, shape, or form, but the speakers that they bring in at the beginning of the year, not that I didn't thoroughly enjoy being entertained
right,
by them, they're not cheap.
right.
And what did we walk away with other than feeling good? And we just got reminded that every kid matters, but hello.
Right.
You know,
We know that.
can't we take that money and apply it to some of these outside professional development opportunities?
Throughout the year, yeah.
The subs, the whatever.
And again, this goes back to input. We want input, you know. We want a clear vision. We want input, ongoing professional development. And we came up with our own idea here today, just by collaborating today, that, hey, let's do a mid-year. Let's get our campus core teachers involved. Let's do our own, you know. So that's something that we've come up and extend outside these walls. So I think we have some good ideas. Thank y'all for collaborating with us today, and hopefully that we can use some of these ideas. It's still early in the year, so maybe we really can launch this new PD for the spring semester. So that'd be awesome. And thank y'all for participating today. Thank you.